Jeremy Roberts always knew he wanted to be in politics, in particular to help his younger brother and those like him who have autism. He was just 26 when he narrowly won the provincial seat for Ottawa West Nepean in 2018. This week, Roberts revealed that he is gay. He's been telling family and friends over the last year or so, and recently began telling his political associates. He came out to his constituents and the world at large yesterday through a piece he wrote for the Ottawa Citizen. I spoke with him earlier today about what it's like to keep being gay a secret while in politics and his decision to come out now. Jeremy Roberts, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me on the show, Joanne.
All right. Well, Jeremy, you wrote this great piece in the Ottawa Citizen where, as you say, you came out of the closet. And you started it by talking about your first campaign. You're really nervous, going door to door. You're wondering what people are going to ask you. Do you know the answer? But the thing you were worried about most is being asked if you were gay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, Joanne, I was one of these kids. I knew I wanted to get involved in politics from a really, really young age. I was 14 when I got involved in my first campaign because my younger brother has special needs, and so I wanted to get involved to advocate on behalf of families like mine. But I had always sort of convinced myself that I couldn't be in politics and be true to my identity. And I'd sort of lived with that fear for a very, very long time. And
why is that? Why did you think that?
You know, I remember as a child being bullied for being a little bit different, and so that fear kind of kept up, and you know, for years we're getting a lot better as a society, but for years you know, it wasn't necessarily as accepted to be gay and to be in a public role, because of course when you're in politics you're being judged by everyone, and you hope that folks will judge you based on your ideas, but they can judge you based on whatever they choose to. And so yeah, I remember going door to door the first week I started this journey, and I was about 25 years old when I started this. And it was a real anxiety for me, kind of worrying, is somebody going to ask me this question that I'm not ready to talk about?
What part of politics makes it hard, so much harder to be your true self to the whole world? I mean, it is a very personal thing, politics.
Yeah, you know, I've always been one of these people who I like to keep my personal life personal and private, and then I have my public life. But of course, in politics, the two can mix so quickly. And I think, you know, if anything, I've grown up in the social media age, right? And social media has been so present throughout all of this. And right when I started getting involved in politics, I saw that. I mean, you go on any politician's Twitter page or Facebook page on any given day, regardless of party, and there's a ton of abuse going on there, and it's the sort of thing that we wouldn't tolerate anywhere else, but in politics it's just sort of, well, you know, you put yourself in that position.
Yeah, and now I have to ask you, is being a progressive conservative, did you have a little more concern? You know, and I don't want to be dealing in cliches and stereotypes. I know there's lots of conservatives who are gay, but there is a perception, fairly or not, that you know, some conservatives may be less open to people of different sexualities or gender identities. You know, and I'm sure part of the base, there is an element of social conservatism in that. Is that going through your mind when you're thinking about coming out as a politician? As a conservative politician.
When I was a lot younger, it definitely was something that worried me. You know, I felt like I had found a home in the Progressive Conservative Party, and I wanted to feel welcomed. And certainly, though, as I got older and started looking more into it and found a lot of role models within the Conservative Party who were out, folks like Phil Gillies, who was an MPP, you know, back in a PC government, you know, that sort of started to give me a little bit of a feeling like, you know what, maybe I can be out too, and be accepted for who I am.
Well, then I have to ask you, why now?
You know, 2 years ago, Joanne, I was really fortunate. I met someone, and we started seeing each other, and he's really changed my life. You know, I had convinced myself I couldn't have a relationship that I wanted and have the job I wanted, and after I met him, I realized that I didn't want to make that compromise anymore. You know, I wanted to have both.
Now, you say in your piece that your family, your friends, they knew, they're very accepting. When you decided to come out, before this article yesterday, which is out to the whole world, you must have started to talk to people in your party and people at work. Who are the people you approached first? What kind of advice did they give you? What kind of reception did you get?
Yeah, I've always been one of these people who I really want the experience of coming out to be as natural as possible, not sort of sitting down with somebody and saying, I have big news I want to share with you. It would just be something as casual as, by the way, I'm seeing someone now. I'd love for you to meet him sometime. Let's do dinner. And so I sort of, after I'd been dating my partner for a couple of months, I started doing that with some of my colleagues.
I actually, one of the lines in your piece that really struck me is talking to younger people, talking to kids about coming out, saying the world is much more full of love than you think, which during the news locally and internationally these last few months is something I think we'd all like to hang on to. And I just want to know if you want to, talk about, speak to younger people who are thinking about coming out.
Last night, I finished my day at a campus political event that the University of Ottawa was hosting, and I went there and talked with a lot of young people about what it's like to be in politics and running at a young age. And at the end of it, there was about 3 different students that came up and asked if they could pull me aside for a second, and they all said to me some version of, I haven't told anybody else in politics, but I'm gay, or I'm lesbian, or I'm bi, whatever it might have been. And they just said they really wanted to thank me, that it meant a lot to them. And so that was a really nice way to finish yesterday, because that's really what I was hoping to accomplish with that piece.
Well, that's a message I'm sure of anyone of any political stripe can get behind. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Joanne.